In our story corner today, I'm going to be sharing how to tell if someone is ghosting you. So listen to this. Last week, I placed a short on this channel about you're being ghosted in a relationship, and I've received numerous responses from my patreon.com/wisdom members about how common it has become to end relationship, whether romantic, friendly, or even familial, by disappearing. I've heard from dozens of viewers who have been ghosted and who have done ghosting by themselves. Let me share one of these stories, some of which have been told on the condition of anonymity or using only their first names for personal privacy. I've likely edited for clarity, length, and here's current story. She dated a man for 4 months after meeting him in a blind date. They were both in the same line of work, and she felt that she had a lot in common and got along great. He mentioned her meeting his family, and she had never considered marriage or having children, but this guy made her feel things she had never felt before. Looking back, there were indications that this was entirely a one-sided affair. She didn't give it much thought when he stopped responding one day, but days became weeks, and weeks became months, and months became years. She was in shambles, so 2 years have passed. She is offered and accepts a part-time job at a hospital, and who is in charge of her training? Her ghost. He pretended that he didn't know who she was, which hurt her deeply. She cried after every shift because she clearly still had feelings for him. She lasted only a few months before quitting. In today's video, we're going to be looking at what is ghosting is and how to tell if someone is ghosted you, and 5 signs of ghosting which will answer the question, when does ghosting happen? And by the end, you'll be able to understand what you should do if you have been ghosted and how to respond to recover. Ghosting is one of the most popular new dating phrases. While ghosting is one of the new relationships fad, it has become prevalent since the advent of online dating culture. Popular dating apps have become quite easy to meet new people and ghost old ones. But what exactly is ghosting? And how can you determine whether someone is simply busy or has ghosted you? What should you do if someone has ghosted you? If you're having trouble determining whether or not you've been ghosted, this video will help you to understand the frustrations of the various sorts of ghosting that actually go on. My name is Stephen Biko, and I share wisdom applicable to every aspect of your life in this channel. So whether you follow this channel for advice in your love life, or whether because you like the ways of thinking in general that you acquire from this channel, you can apply it to anything you want to achieve this year. When a friend or romantic interest disappears without explanation, this is referred to as ghosting. Ghosting is a relatively recent colloquial dating phrase, which refers to abruptly disconnecting contact with someone without the notice or explanation. Even when the individual being ghosted attempts to reestablish communication or seek closure, they are met with silence. As you can see, ghosting refers to the act of someone vanishing into thin air as if they were a ghost. This term is most commonly associated with a romantic relationship, but can theoretically relate to any situation in which contact abruptly ends, including friendship and familial relationships. What are the signs of ghosting? Ghosting is frequently visible, although it can also be a gradual process. The other person can begin by soft ghosting, in which they gradually reduce contact over time, and some early warning indication that someone is ghosting you usually do include they regularly bail out on plans to get together. They struggle to make commitments. They don't like to share their personal information, and they don't want you to meet their friends or family. They disappear from the social media. They rarely respond to your text or calls. Your conversation with them lack depth, and they seem disinterested. If you have made related efforts to contact someone and they won't respond, it is a strong indicator that you have been ghosted. On social media, ghosting can also occur. It entails abruptly disconnecting on all social media interactions with another person. On social networking platforms, the other person may unfriend, unfollow, or even block you. They may even deactivate or erase their social accounts to avoid all communications or act of ghosting, though a novel phrase existed long before the internet age. I believe references to living for a loaf of bread and never returning are examples of ghosting. Ghosting used to be leaving a person and moving away or not leaving them with their contact or information. Its previous origins are even as basic as leaving partly or social gathering without notice or goodbyes. So, how did the term ghosting become popular on the last decade? With the increase of frequency of ghosting incidents and the increase in the number of people who could relate or understand by being ghosted or doing the ghosting, the term became commonly used as we use it today. So, why do some people choose to ghost? Ghosting is often seen as an immature or passive-aggressive way to end a relationship. In other instances, it may even be a form of emotional abuse. Why do people just sabotage without any explanation? Nobody is flawless. People who ghost others are dealing with their own inner problems. They aim to reduce their need to be emotionally present and available for others by ghosting others. When it comes to split, one must be nice, compassionate, and perspective, and the gentle while attempting to make their point. So maybe they don't want to go through the full process of confrontation, tears, and seeing their formerly loved one heartbroken. Overall, breaking up with someone necessitates a significant amount of effort. And because you have been such a vital part of your significant other's life, it is your responsibility to assist them in getting through this difficult time. It is up to you to respond to being ghosted. You will break down and let consume you, or will you toughen up and rise again? How do you deal with being ghosted? Number one, acknowledge that nobody enjoys being ghosted in a relationship. The person who has been ghosted normally does not want to hear any reason, yet as ineffective as it may sound, the first step to overcome your denial. You may believe that your ex is still in love with you, or they may never have loved you in the first place. The point is that they loved you even if it's just for a short time. You shared something beautiful, as if all good things must have come to an end. Your narrative was a little brief, but does not imply it did not occur. Or that your ex is still in love with you, but hasn't really realized it yet. None of these roles do exist. Secondly, be sympathetic towards yourself and grieve. When a loved one dies, one mourns of their passing. The period of sorrow allows us to move forward, though they may never have been forgotten. Their crying aids us in completing their ritual passage. Similarly, when going through a breakup, especially if there was no closure, it is up to you to gentle to yourself. Give your heart adequate time to mourn. Don't be too hard on yourself by telling yourself that you should have known better or saw it coming. Nobody knows what is happening in the future. What is supposed to happen will actually happen, and no one can stop it. Thirdly, take care of yourself, your body and your mind. Nobody will bother themselves to come and care for you. In this day and age, it is your responsibility to get back, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how impossible it appears, no matter how much you have been beaten down. Only you can love yourself enough to fortify yourself such that no one can ever hurt you again. Being ghosted in a relationship should not deprive you of this one of the most fundamental steps in self-care is to fall in love with yourself before falling in love with someone else. The fourth aspect, forgive and let go. Even if your ex took it easy route, try to comprehend of their point of view. After all, they were the ones who were the most familiar with you and your relationship. You spend a lot of time and they have done what they believe was the best. Can you really blame them if they thought that ghosting you was the best they could do given their circumstances? After all is said and done, after you have mourned your loss, quit playing the blame game. Is there a manual on how to deal with getting ghosted? At the end of the day, it will only hurt you and stop you from moving on. We have looked at what is ghosting, signs of ghosting, and this has enabled you to know how to deal with ghosting. And it is not all that you need to know, as you need to watch the video, Signs a Man is Falling in Love with You, on this channel, to keep winning in your relationship and marriage. Until next time, have a good one and see you in the next one.